You breathe like a beast. The taunt drops from above, and I realize my prey has decided to speak. The words cut through the dusk like a claw. I stop, every sense sharpened, lungs pulling in the sharp scent of pine, cold water, and snow-heavy air. My quarry should have been running silent, gasping, desperate. Instead, he perches above me like some crow that has mistaken itself for a king. I tilt my head back. There he is. The Omega is smeared with dirt, his lips split, his hair matted with pine needles and river spray. He should look cornered. Instead, he's smiling, a grin full of teeth and defiance, stretched across a face that should have been afraid. His eyes gleam with something far more dangerous than fear. Freedom. Enjoying the chase, hunter? He drawls, crouching along the branch as if the height belongs to him. Get used to my back. You'll be seeing it a lot. The branch creaks under his weight, but his body is relaxed. Like this is a game he already knows the ending of. I feel the heat crawl up my spine. The familiar pull of the hunt. He's supposed to be another assignment. Another wild Omega. Primar, the council calls them. Dangerous, unbound, unclaimed. We label them monsters so we can lock them up. But I've hunted enough to know most are just desperate. I've always caught them without cruelty. Waited until they broke, or chose to give in. I never forced the mark. That's my reputation. That's why they send me alone. Without a pack. But this one doesn't smell like desperation. He smells like challenge. I let my voice rise, calm and steady. You've run a long way for someone so eager to be caught. He laughs, low and sharp, and the sound strikes straight into my chest. Too bold, too alive. Then he shifts, weight forward, eyes locking on mine, and he jumps. Not down, out, straight into the river gorge. The water below is a black slash through the snow, violent and freezing. Rocks spear the current. Any sane creature would never leap without a rope, without a plan. For a second, all I hear is the rush of water and the echo of his laugh. Then instinct takes me. My body moves before my mind can argue. My cloak whips free as I vault off the ledge, plunging into the roar of the river after him. The cold is a fist around my ribs. It tears the air from my chest, burns through my skin. I go under hard, eyes stinging, arms cutting through the current. For a heartbeat, I wonder if I've just killed myself following a reckless smile. Then I see him, kicking ahead, a streak of pale limbs and grit. He moves, like the river belongs to him, not thrashing, not panicked, swimming, leading. Damn him. I fight the pull of the current, every muscle screaming, boots dragging like anchors. I tear them off under the water, surface with a gasp, and catch sight of him climbing the slick rocks at the far bank. Our eyes meet again. Even across the river, even through the curtain of spray, I see it. His grin widening, lips split, eyes alight. You'll have to be faster than that, old man. He shouts over the thunder of water. His voice carries clear and mocking. Then he disappears into the trees. I drag myself onto the bank, chest heaving, soaked and furious. My hands flex in the mud, claws of instinct urging me to sprint after him. But instead I stand still. Listen. The forest hums around me. Wet branches dripping, the wind threading through the pines. His scent lingers on the air, sharp, unclaimed, taunting. I hate to admit it, but a pulse of something foreign runs hot through my chest. Not duty, not order, not even hunger. Excitement. The last time I felt it was years ago, when the hunt meant more than paperwork and cages. When freedom had a taste, even if it was borrowed from the ones I chased. I wipe the river from my eyes, and for the first time in a long time I'm smiling. Run, then, I murmur into the shadows. Let's see who's really the beast here. And I start after him. The forest is different at night. Shadows lean long between the pines, and the river's roar becomes a whispering drumbeat that pushes me forward. My breath no longer feels like strain. It feels alive, sharp in the cold air. He's clever. I'll give him that. The trail he leaves is messy on purpose, footprints pressed deep where the ground is soft, then scattered where the frost hardens. A tuft of hair snagged on a branch. A broken twig angled just so. Signs that scream, follow me. But every instinct in me knows better. The boy wants me to look right while he vanishes left. I crouch near the prince, fingers brushing the ground. His scent, wild, sharp, unbearably free, clings to the soil, then abruptly stops. Clean break. He's masked it somehow. Rolled in mud? Dove back into the river. My lips twitch into something dangerously close to a grin. Most Omegas run until their lungs tear, until their bodies give. But this one's running to teach me how. I keep moving, not fast but steady, letting the forest feed me clues. A branch bent too recently, a scatter of pine needles that shouldn't be here. He's not fleeing. He's inviting. And for the first time in years, I enjoy the invitation. The wind bites at my wet clothes, but I don't notice. The cold is a sharpened edge keeping me awake, my senses wide open. Every step is a reminder, I'm not chasing a prisoner. I'm chasing something far rarer. Then I see it, hanging low on a branch, fluttering like a banner in the night. My cloak, sodden, heavy, unmistakably mine. He stripped it from where the current spat me onto the bank, carried it here, and displayed it like a prize. And tied neatly beside it, dangling almost sweetly, is a scarf, faded gray wool, frayed at the edges, reeking of him. His scent pours off it in waves, mocking, deliberate. The laugh that escapes me is short, quiet, and wholly unexpected. Bold little bastard. I take the cloak down, wringing water from the fabric, eyes narrowing. The scarf I leave swaying in the wind. His message is obvious. I own the pace of this hunt. Try to keep up. The council warned me that Primars are dangerous, unstable, unfit for pack life. But what I see in him is not madness. It's control. He's not running from chains. He's daring me to prove I deserve to catch him. And I can't remember the last time I wanted to prove anything. The forest exhales around me, and I follow the thin thread of instinct he left behind. Not his scent, he buried that too well, but the rhythm of his taunt, the laughter still echoing between the trees. He's not escaping. The realization curls warm in my chest, a dangerous truth I can't ignore. He's leading me, and God's help me. I want to be led. The deeper I push into the forest, the thicker the silence becomes, broken only by the occasional crack that isn't mine. He's here, always here, close enough to taste, never close enough to touch. The ground betrays his tricks. A pit dug shallow and clumsily camouflaged with pine needles yawns at my feet. I step around it, lips curling. A rookie move, unless of course he wanted me to see it. A branch snaps high above. My hand goes instinctively to the knife at my belt, but when the sound repeats, too rhythmic, too hollow, I realize it's not a footstep at all. He's hung wooden slats from ropes, letting the wind rattle them like bones. A false trail of noise. Clever, infuriating. I keep moving, slow and measured. Every trap is a conversation. Every trick is a word. He's speaking to me through the forest, and I'm listening. Smoke stains the air, faint but recent. I find the remnants of a fire, still warm under the ashes. He's close, watching. I stand in the clearing, letting my voice carry. You're wasting energy. No answer. The trees stay still. Then, a flicker. Movement in the shadows. My eyes snap toward it, and for an instant, he's there. Lean, agile, his body coiled like a spring. Mud streaks his skin, making him part of the landscape, but his grin glints white in the gloom. Our gazes lock. He doesn't look away. Too slow for a hunter, old man, he calls, voice ringing between the trunks. His tone is mocking, but his pupils are blown wide, wild. His chest rises and falls with excitement, not exhaustion. He wants this. My lips tilt, sharp and humorless. And you're too loud for prey. The grin widens, reckless and bright. Then he vanishes again, slipping behind the trees as if he'd never been there. I exhale through my teeth, a mix of irritation and something dangerously close to laughter. This is no longer a hunt. It's courtship in the language of predators, pursuit and escape, challenge and answer. I follow the trail of his games deeper, brushing aside swinging branches designed to smack me blind, stepping over tripwires made of stripped vines. They're crude, but intentional. He knows I'll survive them. He's not trying to stop me. He's trying to test me. When another branch crashes somewhere ahead, I freeze. It's not the wooden slats this time. It's him. Deliberate. He wants me to follow, and I do. The forest swallows the sound of my boots, but I know he hears me. His laughter curls through the trees, sharp and taunting, but laced with something else. Thrill. Invitation. Every muscle in my body coils, not with duty, but with anticipation. I should be thinking about the council, about orders, about cages. Instead, all I can think is this. He's not prey. He's a storm. And for the first time in years, I want to be caught in it. The forest breaks open into a clearing, the ground glittering with a thin crust of frost. The moon slices through the trees, cold and sharp, and there he is, standing in the open, as if he's been waiting all along. No more shadows. No more laughter from a distance. Riv turns, chin lifted, body loose but coiled. He doesn't run. Finally, I step forward, boots crunching on frozen earth. Tired already? His mouth curves, that same infuriating grin. Of running? No. Of you dragging behind? Absolutely. And then he moves. Fast. Too fast. He surges toward me like a streak of silver through the dark, a blur of muscle and fury. I barely get my arm up before his shoulder slams into me, the impact rattling down my ribs. The scent of him, wild pine and sweat, burns straight into my lungs. I pivot, catch his wrist, try to twist him down. He rolls with it, body lithe and fluid, legs snapping around to kick at my knees. I block, shove, counter, and for a heartbeat we're locked, grappling, breath tearing from both of us in hot clouds against the cold. It's not a fight. It's a dance. Every strike is sharp but never fatal. Every dodge is precise, but never final. His movements are reckless and yet calculated, like he's letting me close, then pulling away just before my grip lands. He wants me to chase even here, in the circle of our clash. Hold still, I growl, twisting, throwing him toward a tree. He rebounds off the trunk, a snarl splitting into laughter. And miss, watching you sweat? Not a chance. Our rhythm builds. A slash of claws at my chest, close enough to tear fabric but not skin. A low sweep of my leg, catching him, sending him stumbling, but not falling. He recovers too fast, spinning back into range. Our breaths sink, ragged and hard. My heart pounds not with duty but with exhilaration. It's been years since anyone pushed me like this. Since anyone dared. And then I realize, he's giving me openings. Too many. A wrist exposed, a throat angled, a step too long. Mistakes no one with his instincts would make. He wants me to think I can catch him. My chest tightens with something more dangerous than adrenaline. He's not fighting to win. He's fighting to see if I'm worthy. I lunge, tackling him back into the snow. We hit the ground hard, a spray of white rising around us. His laugh bursts against my ear, warm and reckless. My hand pins his shoulder, my weight pressing him down. For once he doesn't slip free. Our breaths thunder in unison, mixing with the cold night air. His eyes lock on mine, pupils blown wide, lips parted. The space between us shrinks until the only thing I can taste is the heat of him, the possibility of his mouth on mine. The world holds still. Then, just as quickly, he bucks beneath me, twisting, and the contact breaks. He's up in a blink, grinning through his ragged breaths. Close, old man. Very close. Before I can rise, he's already darting back into the trees, laughter trailing behind him like a challenge. I stay on my knees in the snow, chest heaving, pulse pounding. My lips curve despite myself. Run then, I mutter. I'll catch you again. And gods, I hope he makes me work for it. The forest breathes differently when danger changes its face. I sense it before I see them. The shift in the air, the muted rhythm of boots pressing snow instead of paws. Not Riv's light-footed chaos. He is loud on purpose, a flare of freedom. These steps are heavy, coordinated. The clearing opens in front of me, the moon painting the snow silver. And then they appear, 3 alphas, maybe more behind them, eyes glinting like knives. "Hunter," the tallest says, voice a cold blade. "Step aside." My hand goes to my knife. Their formation is tight, practiced. They didn't come for me. They came for him. I don't move. He's mine. They don't argue. They lunge. The first swing comes fast, a blade flashing through the moonlight. I catch it on my forearm, twist, and drive my fist into his ribs. The crunch is satisfying, but the second hits from the side before I recover. My breath bursts out as his weight slams me into the ground. I roll, snow burning cold against my back, and kick free. Another strikes from above, and I barely deflect the blow. Too many. Too quick. The numbers press like a tide. For every step I take forward, they drive me back too. My body remembers every fight I've ever survived, but I can feel the edge thinning. Alone, I've always had control. Tonight, they'll bleed it from me. A blade arcs down, aimed for my throat. Too close, too sharp. And then, the air changes. A blur collides with the attacker, knocking him sideways. The blade bites into the snow instead of my flesh. I blink, breath ragged. Riv. He's a storm crashing through their line, wild and precise. No hesitation. His hands claw into one alpha's shoulder, teeth bared, eyes blazing with something primal. He doesn't run. He doesn't vanish into the trees. He fights beside me. "Keep up, old man," he shouts, laughter slicing through the chaos. Shock freezes me for a heartbeat. This isn't his fight. He could have left me to die. He should have, but he didn't. The moment is enough. Heat surges through me. Not the clean rhythm of duty, but something darker. Something warmer. Together, we drive them back. His speed cuts where my strength lands, our rhythm colliding into something that feels inevitable. When the last of them staggers into the trees, retreating into the dark, I'm left staring at him across the churned snow. Riv's chest heaves, his lips still split, his grin reckless as ever. But there's something else in his eyes now. Not just challenge, recognition. For the first time since this hunt began, I wonder if the prey I chased has been leading me not into a trap but into trust. The cave is shallow, half hidden by fallen stone and pine boughs, but it shields us from the wind. Snow swirls outside, hissing against the rock, while inside the crackle of fire fills the silence. I crouch near the flames, feeding another stick into the blaze. Smoke curls upward, carrying the sharp scent of pine resin. My clothes are still damp from the river, but the heat begins to seep through, slow and steady. Behind me, Riv makes a sound somewhere between a groan and a complaint. "Alphas," he mutters, dragging his back along the wall as he sits. Always smelling like sweat and iron. Even when you're half drowned, it's the same. I glance over my shoulder. His hair clings in damp curls to his forehead, his lips still bloodied from the earlier fight, his eyes bright with exhaustion and something sharper. He looks like he should collapse, but his mouth won't stop moving. "You're welcome," I say dryly, "for keeping you alive." His grin flashes through the firelight. "I pulled a blade off your throat." "You should be thanking me." My lips twitch, though I don't let it show. Instead, I settle against the opposite wall, the warmth of the fire between us. For a moment, we just breathe, letting the forest's howl fade outside. Then his voice cuts through the quiet, softer now. "You think I'm one of them?" I meet his eyes. One of who? The council's favorite word. Wild. Like I'm broken. A stray animal waiting to be caged. He leans forward, elbows on his knees, face caught half in shadow. But I'm not wild. I'm free. The words land heavy. His tone isn't playful, not mocking. It's a declaration, a vow, and something in me believes him. "You run like freedom," I admit, surprising even myself. He tilts his head, studying me. The grin returns, slower this time, almost dangerous. "Careful, Hunter." That almost sounded like admiration. The fire snaps between us. My pulse runs harder than it should. I should be resting, planning, thinking about orders. Instead, all I can do is watch the way his fingers play with the scarf. Around his neck, the curve of his mouth, the steady beat of his breath. I shift, leaning forward before I realize it. The space between us thins. pulled tight by something heavier than instinct. His scent rolls over me, untamed, sharp, intoxicating. My hand brushes the ground, inching closer. His gaze drops to my mouth. It would be so easy. A mark at his throat, a kiss to claim what the council demanded I take. The urge claws through me, primal and raw. I lower my head, lips grazing close to his skin, and his breath ghosts against my ear. "If you mark me," he whispers, low and steady, "you lose me." The words cut cleaner than any blade. My chest seizes. The weight of my instincts crashes against the wall of his voice, and for once I stop. I pull back, jaw tight, every muscle straining. He doesn't move. His grin fades into something softer, unreadable, but his eyes never leave mine. The silence stretches, filled only by fire and breath. Then Riv leans back, arms folding behind his head, like the moment never happened. "Smart choice," he murmurs, eyelids lowering. "Didn't think you had it in you." I settle against the wall, fists clenched in my lap, the echo of his warning still vibrating through me. For the first time in years, I didn't take what I wanted, and somehow it feels less like loss and more like the beginning of something I can't yet name. Dawn creeps slowly through the cave's mouth, painting the snow outside in shades of pale gold. The fire has burned low, leaving only embers that glow faintly in the ash. The forest beyond is silent, no wind, no footsteps, just the brittle stillness of morning. Riv stirs first. He pushes himself up with a hiss, brushing ash and pine needles from his clothes. His movements are restless, like a runner about to take off again. I watch him through half-lidded eyes, muscles coiled but unwilling to betray the truth. I don't want him to leave. He notices. Of course he does. His eyes flick toward me, quick and sharp. "Don't look at me like that. You're the hunter. You knew this wouldn't last." He turns toward the cave mouth, but his feet don't cross the line where shadow meets snow. His body hesitates, shoulders tense, like the forest is calling, but something tethers him here. "You're a hunter," he says again, quieter now, gaze fixed on the pale morning. "But there's no beast in me. I'm not your trophy." His words strike with more force than any blade last night. I sit up fully, the ache in my ribs forgotten. "And if I don't want a trophy?" Riv glances back, his grin missing this time, his eyes wary. "Then, what do you want?" The truth slides out before I can stop it. An equal, for a heartbeat, silence reigns. The forest waits, the embers crackle. My chest tightens. Something shifts in his expression, mockery fading into something uncertain, maybe even fragile. He searches my face as if trying to find the trap, the hidden hook. When he doesn't find one, his lips twitch into the ghost of a smile. "You say that now." His tone is lighter, but the edge remains. "Let's see if you can hold that line when the council comes knocking." He steps closer instead of away, dropping back onto the cold stone floor near the fire's remains. Not touching, not surrendering, just choosing not to leave. Inside, something breaks and remakes itself in me. For years, the hunt was about ending things, finishing, binding, closing the gap. But with him, I don't want the end. I want the impossible, for him to stay. I lean back against the wall, forcing my voice steady. "Run if you want. I'll follow. But I won't cage you." His eyes linger on me, and for the first time, his grin softens into something almost real. "Careful, old man," he murmurs. "Sounds like you mean it. And God's help me, I do." By midday, the snow has hardened, crunching underfoot as we climb higher into the ridges. The air here is sharper, cleaner, carrying the tang of stone and pine resin. Riv moves ahead of me, light as a shadow darting from rock to rock. He isn't fleeing now. His steps are deliberate, playful, daring me to follow. I let him set the pace. For once, I don't tighten the leash of distance. I want to see where he leads. He glances back over his shoulder, grin flashing quick in the winter sun. Then he veers suddenly off the main path, springing across a narrow ravine. His laugh echoes as he lands on the other side with ease. "Keep up, old man." The taunt is familiar now, almost comfortable. I jump after him, boots scraping the frozen edge, hands digging into stone to keep balance. My body hums, not from strain, but from something dangerously close to joy. The chase is lighter today, less desperate. He circles back sometimes, doubling his tracks, pausing just long enough for our eyes to meet before slipping away again. It's no longer predator and prey. It's a game. We weave through the broken terrain, over ridges and shallow ravines. My breath clouds in front of me, mixing with his in the air when I get close enough. Our rhythm is no longer hunter and hunted. It's something shared, until the ground gives way beneath me. Snow collapses with a groan, and I drop waist deep into a crude pit lined with sharpened sticks. Someone else dug this. Hunters, not him. The wood splinters against my boots. But the trap is shallow, not meant to kill, just slow. I curse under my breath, hauling at the edges. The walls crumble, slick with ice. For once, I'm not fast enough. A shadow falls across me. Riv leans casually against a tree, arms crossed, grin wicked. Well, he drawls. Look at you. Caught like a rookie. I bare my teeth. Don't just stand there. He chuckles, sauntering closer. With a surprising show of strength, he offers his hand. I grab it, and he braces, hauling me free of the pit with a grunt. I land hard on the snow, brushing ice from my cloak. His grin widens. You'd be dead 10 times over without me. My brows arch. Is that your idea of gratitude? No, he says easily. That's my idea of fun. And then, he's off again, bounding up the next slope with a laugh trailing behind him. I watch him for a moment, breathless, before following. The pit is already forgotten, not because it wasn't dangerous, but because I can't stop replaying the feel of his hand pulling me out, the spark of something unspoken in the touch. The hunt has changed. This is no longer the chase of predator after prey. This is freedom, shared between two who were never meant to meet as equals, yet do. And God's help me, I don't want it to end. Night presses heavy over the forest, the cold sharper now that the clouds have swallowed the moon. We make camp in a hollow between 2 ridges, the fire small and mean, its smoke curling into the wind. Riv stretches out on the far side, hands laced behind his head, eyes half-lidded but watchful. He pretends to rest, but I can feel him listening. He always listens. The calm beat at my collar hums to life, the sound too loud in the silence. I tilt my head away from him, pressing it close. Talon, comes the commander's voice, clipped and cold. Report. I keep my tone steady. The target is contained. He's not marked, not bound, but he's within reach. Static crackles before the reply. Not good enough. Bring him in. Bound. Do you understand? My jaw tightens. He isn't feral. He's... Do not argue, the voice snaps. Council wants him secured before his energy destabilizes the region. You have your orders. Bind him and return. Tonight. The bead clicks silent. The cold creeps deeper into my skin. I don't turn immediately, but I don't need to. He's already sitting up, firelight glinting off his grin. Well, Riv says. Voice too light. So the famous hunter does take orders after all. I face him slowly. You weren't supposed to hear that. He huffs a laugh. Oh, I was supposed to believe you. That all this chasing, the sparring, the near deaths. He gestures at me with lazy contempt. Was about me being more than prey? I open my mouth, but he cuts in. Sharper now. And then, surprise, the council whistles, and you drag me back on a leash. The fire pops between us, spitting sparks into the dark. His grin doesn't reach his eyes. Funny thing, he says softly. I almost believed you. The words strike harder than any blade. I move around the fire, slow, deliberate. It isn't like that. Of course it is. His shoulders are rigid now, his voice low and tight. You're a hunter. That's all you'll ever be. And me? He jabs a thumb at his chest. I'm the prize you bag and toss at their feet. No, the word comes out rougher than I intend. He studies me, eyes flicking over my face like he's searching for a crack. Then prove it, right now. Tell me you won't take me bound. The silence stretches. The wind howls outside the hollow, carrying the smell of snow. My throat works, but no sound comes. Orders claw at one side of me, instinct at the other, and Riv sees it. His smile is slow, bitter, final. That's what I thought. He lies back down, turning his face away from me. Good night, Hunter. The fire gutters low. My fists curl in my lap, every instinct screaming to bridge the space between us, to tell him he's wrong. But the only truth tonight is that the order still burns in my ear, and he knows it. The first sign is the silence. Not the gentle kind, but the sharp, coiled hush that smothers the forest before a strike. My instincts bristle. Then shadows peel from the trees. 6 of them. Alphas, armed and ready. Their eyes gleam with the cold certainty of men who believe the hunt is already won. One steps forward, blade drawn. Hand him over, Talon. Bound, breathing, doesn't matter. Council wants him delivered. Riv laughs, low, sharp, reckless. Guess they didn't trust you to finish the job alone. I angle myself between him and them, my knife flashing in the firelight. He's not yours. The first rush comes fast, snow scattering under boots. Steel collides with steel, their weight pressing like a tide. My arm jars with every strike, every parry. I drive one back with a kick to the gut, only to feel another slam into my ribs. We're outnumbered. Badly. Riv doesn't run. He circles, darting in and out like a wild flame. A fist crashes toward me, and before I can block, Riv barrels into the attacker's side, teeth bared, dragging him down into the snow. His movements are fast, vicious, but not mindless. Calculated. Still, the numbers close in. A blade cuts close across my shoulder, hot pain searing through. I shove the attacker back, but another replaces him instantly. I'm forced down to one knee, teeth gritted, lungs burning. And then, everything changes. The air thickens, humming low like the forest itself is holding its breath. Riv stands in the center of the chaos, chest heaving, eyes black with fury and fire. His scent floods the clearing, sharp, untamed, commanding. The energy bursts from him like a storm, not visible but felt, rolling through the snow, crawling into bone. Every alpha around us stumbles, snarls caught in their throats, eyes wide. Their instincts betray them. They reel back, bodies bowing under the pressure of his power. Even I feel it, every nerve alight, muscles trembling with the primal urge to submit. My breath catches, frozen between awe and dread. He isn't just fast. He isn't just free. He is power. Riv's voice cuts through the charge, raw and ringing. You think I'm prey? The alphas flinch. He steps forward, and with every pace, the energy presses harder, heavier, until the strongest of them takes an involuntary step back. I've fought wars. I've stood before beasts twice my size. Nothing has ever made my blood roar like this. Not fear, not fury, but the electric certainty that I'm standing in the presence of something untouchable. The others break first. One snarls curses, retreating into the shadows. The rest follow, stumbling, unwilling to hold their ground. In moments, the clearing is empty, but for the 2 of us. Riv staggers, the power flickering out as quickly as it came. He braces a hand on his knee, sweat glistening at his temple. His grin is shaky, but it's there. I can't look away. The snow between us is churned with prints, steel, and bloodless battle. My body aches, my shoulder burns, but none of it matters. Because all I can think is this: the council calls him wild, dangerous, untamed. But what I just saw, what I just felt, wasn't something to cage. It was something to follow. They don't stay gone for long. By dawn, the trees groan with fresh boots pressing through snow. The commander himself steps into the clearing, flanked by alphas bristling with weapons and authority. His gaze flicks from me to Riv, sharp and cold as the blade at his hip. Talon, his voice is iron, unmoved by the churned earth and broken silence around us. Step aside, bind him and bring him in. The council has no patience left. I straighten, shifting until I stand squarely between Riv and their line. My body knows the choice before my mind does. He isn't bound, I say evenly. And he won't be. The commander's jaw flexes. You forget yourself. This isn't about your methods or your pride. It's an order. Behind me, I feel Riv's presence like heat, steady but bristling. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. Every instinct in me already screams his answer. Step aside, the commander repeats. His eyes narrow. Unless you've already marked him, the air goes taut. Even Riv stills. I let the words hang before I answer. No. A pause. My voice is steady, but my blood pounds. But if anyone here so much as tries, I let my eyes sweep across the line of soldiers. Every one of them holding their breath. I'll become the wild thing you fear, and none of you will walk away whole. The weight of the truth sinks like a blade into the snow. The commander's eyes harden, but he doesn't advance. Not yet. He studies me, searching for the bluff, but finds none. Behind me, I hear it. A sharp exhale, halfway between disbelief and something warmer. Riv. The commander finally speaks, voice clipped. You're choosing him over the council. I don't hesitate. I'm choosing what's right. The men shift uneasily, glances darting between one another. They came expecting obedience. Instead, they face a hunter-turned-barrier, and the Omega they call Wild, standing free behind him. The commander's lip curls, but he raises a hand, signaling retreat. Not forever. Just for now. His warning is clear in the sharpness of his gaze. This will not be forgotten. The forest swallows them one by one until it's only us again. The air loosens, though the tension lingers. I finally turn. Riv's eyes meet mine, unreadable in the pale light. A grin ghosts at his mouth, though it doesn't hide the weight of what just passed. You really are insane, he murmurs. Maybe, or maybe for the first time in years, I'm sane. Either way, the choice is made, and I will not take it back. The moon hangs heavy over the treetops, its silver light spilling across the snow. The forest is quiet now, emptied of enemies and echoes, leaving only the crunch of our boots on the frozen path. For the first time since this hunt began, we are not chasing, not fighting, not waiting for the next ambush. We're just moving forward. Riv walks a few steps ahead, his stride loose and almost lazy, hands shoved into his pockets as if he owns the night. I follow, slower, heavier. My boots grind into the snow, each step sinking deep. He glances back, grin flashing like a spark. You know, he says, voice carrying easily in the still air. You walk like a bear with an anvil tied to its back. I grunt, and yet somehow I kept up with you. His laugh rings bright, scattering across the trees. Barely. If I slowed down every time you stomped, we'd still be back at the river. I shake my head, though the corner of my mouth betrays me, tugging upward. Careful. Mock me too much and I might let you fall into the next pit. Riv's grin widens. Please. Without me, you'd still be in the last one. The banter is light, but beneath it lies something deeper, a rhythm that feels dangerously close to belonging. We crest a ridge, and the forest stretches out below us. Silver and endless. No patrols. No cages. No eyes but the stars. Riv stops at the edge, tilting his head back to take it all in. The moonlight paints him in pale fire, his breath curling white. For a long moment, neither of us speaks. The silence isn't heavy anymore. It's clean. This, he murmurs, almost to himself, this is what they'll never understand. Running because you choose to, not because you're hunted. I step up beside him, the snow crunching under my weight. My presence shifts the air, but he doesn't move away. Freedom stretches before us like the road itself, unwritten, unclaimed. And for the first time, I don't see a fugitive at my side. I see a partner. Riv exhales, a small smile curving his lips. Not bad company for a bear. I let out a low laugh, surprising even myself. Don't get used to it. But the truth settles quiet in my chest. I want him to. We stop when the trees thin, opening to a meadow bathed in silver. Snow stretches untouched for miles, glowing under the watchful eye of the moon. The air is still, the kind of stillness that feels earned. like the forest itself is holding its breath after the storm. Riv drops into the snow with a careless thump, stretching his legs out, palms pressed behind him. He tilts his head back, eyes closed, breath curling white into the night. I stay standing a moment longer, scanning the tree line out of habit, but for once, there's no threat. Only quiet. Only him. Finally, I sink down beside him. The snow crunches under my weight, and his lips twitch into a half grin. "You didn't mark me," he says suddenly, voice light but edged with something sharper. His eyes flick open, catching the moonlight. Not even now. I turn my head toward him, studying the curve of his smile, the defiance still smoldering there. "You're not running." He huffs a laugh, low and almost disbelieving. "And if I did?" I let the words settle between us before I answer, steady and certain. "Then I'd catch you. Again. And again. Until you asked me not to." His brows lift, the grin widening into something genuine, almost boyish. For a heartbeat, the fire in him softens, replaced by surprise. "That's not the answer I expected," he admits. I lean back into the snow, arms folding behind my head. "Maybe you've been asking the wrong questions." For a while, we say nothing. The night fills the space instead, the distant call of an owl, the crack of ice shifting in the river far below, the steady rhythm of our breathing. It feels easy, easier than it has any right to be. Riv shifts closer, close enough that his shoulder brushes mine. It isn't surrender, not really. It's something else. Choice. "Careful," he murmurs, amusement curling in his voice. "Keep talking like that, and I might start thinking you're not half bad." I let out a short laugh, surprised by how natural it feels. High praise from someone who smells like smoke and trouble. He chuckles, nudging my arm with his elbow. "Better than sweat and iron." The banter fades into silence again, but this time it's warm, not wary. His head tilts slightly, resting against my shoulder as if testing whether I'll flinch. I don't. The meadow glows around us, untouched, endless. Ahead lies nothing certain, no council's blessing, no pack's approval, just open road, snow, and the dangerous freedom of two who should never have found each other, yet did. I close my eyes, the weight of choice settling not as a burden but as something lighter. For the first time in years, I'm not thinking of duty, or cages, or orders. I'm thinking of him. Riv's laugh rumbles softly against my shoulder, low and content. "Not bad, old man. Not bad at all." And under the silver sky, with freedom stretching wide before us, I let myself smile. The hunt is over, or maybe it's only just begun.